geekversus.com.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Weekly Games Chat. For the second time this week, first if you're listening to this, though, I am Chris, not joined by Sean, but I am rejoined by John, who, of course, didn't turn off his phone, and now is going to get blown up.
Hey, guys. That was
Welcome back.
That was actually from Sean.
What do you say?
I don't know yet. Let's see.
For the listeners out there who are wondering what's going on, one, we are a day late because John and I actually recorded this episode last night, but apparently the wrong microphone pickup was turned on my PC, so therefore our quality was just terrible, which is really a shame for you guys because it was an amazing conversation.
It was an amazing conversation. We're going to try to do this again. I think we can.
I don't know how we didn't argue. We were in sync about everything.
I'm done arguing with you.
Yeah, we're just going to have discussions from now on.
Chris, Sean texted, and maybe I don't know what this means exactly. You might. He says, I got my Yeti mic to say hey before I'm about to leave. I don't know if he's trying to chime in to the podcast.
Let me see. Oh, man. I don't know if I can do that. Hold. You could just talk.
I can just talk. You know, it's interesting. Technically, if you want to get technical, Sean and I both have now missed 2 recordings.
Yeah.
So this matters.
Stop trying to weasel your way out and get on even footing with them.
I know. But
we missed you, though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we have to miss you twice in 1 week because,
kidding. Yeah.
Because we have to record this again.
But you and I were having a conversation prior to us hitting record, and you made a statement, and everyone makes this statement. I make this statement. We go so-and-so and so-and-so.
Keep talking, but you're not going to hear yourself.
Oh, so-and-so and so-and-so, if you will. What does if you will mean? What are we saying when we say if you will? What do you think, man?
I don't know.
Okay, then. Write to us at weeklygameschat@gmail.com.
I just realized I couldn't do what I wanted to do.
Are we trying to get him hooked in or something?
Yeah, but I've got to search for things. This is not a good thing to have Chris to have to do on the fly.
Chris is currently going through his drawers.
That's the way to say it.
But yeah, we're I don't know if we want to call this technical difficulties. See, guys, what's happening right now is I think Sean wants to, while he's not here, for the record, he's not here. I think he wants to chime in from his computer at home, and I think we're just checking to see if we can do that.
I don't know if I can. Hold on. Talk about your life.
My life?
Yeah. Talk about how your last 2 weeks been, because people missed you.
Hey, my last 2 weeks have been really rough. We placed an order for. Well, actually, let me backtrack. A few years ago, I proposed the idea of. I said to my wife, "Hey, honey, why don't we get a king size bed?" Hold on, Chris.
Your wife.
There we go. Why don't we get a king size bed? And she looked at me so adoringly and said, "Because I'd miss you," which I thought was really, really sweet. About 6 months ago, she says to me, out of the blue, "I think it's time we get a king-size bed." And I said, "Honey, you either don't love me anymore, or you're calling me fat, or both." But needless to say, we placed an order for a king-size bed. And it's the ones that they ship through the mail these days, like in the vein of Purple and what's the other one?
Casper.
Casper. But we got something else. Got great reviews. It's a king size bed. It's supposed to come in today. But what happened was last week, we were told that everything had been shipped. So we got home all excited, and we dismantled our queen-size bed, the bed frame, the bed itself. We just took everything down. Took about an hour and a half. And then we started setting up the new bed frame, the new box spring, all that stuff, and then realized, wait for it, there was no mattress.
Ouch.
So I've been telling people I've been sleeping in the recliner for 2 weeks, and people go, "Oh, you guys on the fritz? Are you guys doing okay?" I'm like, "No, we're fine. My wife's on the couch." So,
your wife.
but it's been. It should be delivered today.
I'm
And it's a
interested to
Wednesday,
see.
ladies and gentlemen. It should be delivered today, and hopefully, I'll be sleeping in a bed tonight.
I'm interested to see if how you like this one, because I haven't heard about this one, so
Yeah,
I want to know. And I'm kind of beginning to hunt for a mattress. Like
Oh, yeah.
I think like within the next year, I'd like to get a new one.
yeah.
I'd like to actually get a new frame too.
I think
It's,
this is a
kind of
smaller.
outdated.
I think this is a smaller company, and my wife's all about
Your wife.
supporting smaller businesses. So.
All right, we're gonna see what happens if I hit this button. I can't promise anything. Okay?
Is he there?
We'll find. He is online, so we'll see how this goes. Hold on.
Dun, dun, dun. I'm hearing something.
Yeah. If he doesn't answer though, then
It was
there's nothing
never-
I can do.
You may call him.
The person whom you're trying to reach
That's great.
is currently unavailable.
Terrible.
I mean, maybe that's not what he was trying to say. I don't know. He said, "I got."
Oh wait,
my-
hold on. He's calling back right now.
What's up?
You're on air.
I'm on air right now.
You're on air right now.
Were you making fun of me because I didn't answer the Skype call after you set it up?
Yeah, I was. You know I was.
Well, in classic Sean fashion.
Hold on a second. I need to turn you up, actually.
Okay, well, I can actually lean in a little bit.
Sounds,
This is
audio.
This is
I
the
want.
greatest. Hey, John.
Hey,
How you doing, boo?
I'm good.
Say something now.
Hey, something now. I can actually turn my gain up, too, on my Yeti mic.
He's muffled, but I can hear him.
Keep going.
Well, this is probably fine.
Oh, that's
Now
good.
you're good. Now
You're
I
good
got you.
now.
We're talking over the internet via Skype, hanging out. But in classic Sean fashion, I'm going to meet friend of the show Jeff, who's got a trailer. I'm going to pick up a washing machine, and you guys feel free to tell the story of the debacle of said washing issue. But
I feel like this whole week for us as a collective
been a
has been a
debacle.
debacle. Yeah,
I don't know. My house isn't flooded.
that's true. That's true.
in classic fashion, Jeff goes, "We gotta hurry. My trailer's got no lights."
That's pretty funny.
I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
My trailer's got no lights.
That's just.
That's Jeff.
It's Alabama. It's Jeff. This is what we do. I hope that you guys can actually. I don't know if you touched on it yet, and I don't mean Richards. I'm talking about the topic of what you guys did yesterday.
Oh, because in that case, no, we haven't.
No Chinese finger lock yet
Not yet. Not yet.
with Richards. Listeners, I don't know why I'm acting crazy right now. I had a Red Bull, but apparently these guys had the greatest show in the world yesterday.
We
And
did.
then-
It was.
and then there was audio issues, so I hope you guys can replicate it. I just wanted to say, hey, it's good to have John back. I blame everything on John,
As you should.
as we should.
It's probably
tell him?
accurate.
Did you tell him a listener said that that's probably what happened?
Jeez. No, I
Or
didn't.
no? You hadn't told him that bomb yet?
I'm going to want to hear this.
We basically we put it out on Twitter and Facebook that we had some audio issues and we're redoing it, and one listener was like, it's probably because John was back.
Yep.
It was a joke. It was said in jest.
It was accurate. No.
But just to cover what we normally do in the opening, Roll Tide Chris.
Roll Tide.
John, football is
Hey, man, you can take this however you want. Please tell your mother I enjoyed my time with her today.
Ooh.
To be fair, Sean, John, when we went to after show dinner of the failed show, that will be the greatest show that was never heard from now on. John, because Georgia is now number one, engaged me, and he was like, well, what do you think about this? Because, he wants to get into football, but, he's not, he's admittedly, he's not the biggest football guy out there. So,
Speaking of that, last night, Sean, in case you didn't know, the tortilla soup is back at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
I may have heard rumblings of this, and I apologize to anyone listening if you don't have a Chick-fil-A and your mouth has not got the warmth of chicken tortilla soup.
Dude, that is the greatest thing I've ever put in my mouth, and I've put some amazing things in my mouth.
You have.
It's not the biggest thing I've ever put in my mouth, but
it is
it might be the warmest.
Not even be the warmest.
Oh,
yeah.
It may not even be the warmest. I don't know.
Have the most beans in it.
Oh my god!
It felt like every other bite there was like 50 of those like white chili beans or wherever they are.
So thick and
so good.
It was so thick and creamy.
I know where I'm going after this. You're welcome to join if you want.
I love getting a side salad with that soup. It's really really good.
You don't even need that.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But all right,
a nice tossed salad will do. That hits the spot.
All right,
indeed. Well, I'll let you guys get on with it. I just wanted to say, hey man, rock it on, represent.
Woohoo.
And I will keep, if they care, I'll keep the after you tell the story. If you guys choose to tell the story of what happened to me, I'll post some stuff on the Twitters because it's quite hilarious. If you guys remember it, it's kind of hilarious.
Sean will be back next week to discuss that and also to discuss Call of Duty World War II. You see
we
how
just
I did?
Put him on the spot.
No,
Sean, that was Chris. That I didn't do it.
I'm definitely playing Call of Duty. It's going down.
There we go.
There's no doubt about it. If you notice, we went from not having a lot of things to talk about to like we're having to stack things
5,000 things.
Yeah, so that's if we're a week late, just remember you're going to get our take on it. Like
that's true,
and it's the only way we know how to do it, and that's why you listen. So we love you.
Hey, Sean,
I'm going to get a washer.
Go do it.
Chris did the ultimate head bob.
I saw it.
Oh, did you?
Can you see me, John?
I can't see you because of this big obnoxious computer.
Unlimited power. All right.
Well, y'all have a good show. Everybody will talk to you soon.
All right, Sean.
What do I say? Peace out, everybody.
Yep.
I'll say it now.
Yeah,
right,
go for
peace
it.
Out.
Your mom's box. All right.
I mean, we'll get the whole story, the whole wonderful, hilarious story next week. But basically, Sean's washing machine exploded.
Yeah.
And
with a cascading waterfall through the ceiling.
And his house flooded. And he's got, like my house, he's got a washer and dryer upstairs.
Yeah.
So that I am now nervous.
I kind of like thought about that. I was like, this should just be a testament why you never want a washer or dryer up. Well, I guess a dryer wouldn't really matter that much.
No, it wouldn't matter. If it burns, it burns.
Yeah.
But
I guess the flames will get to you faster upstairs.
For us, when we saw that our house, we were like, man, this is awesome. This washer and dryer is right next to our bedroom. Mm-hmm. But when you're doing all the laundry, you're downstairs and you're like, gosh, I got to take my fat butt upstairs and fold some clothes.
The only thing I remember is when we moved into, or when we helped you move into that place, was Jeff just saying, screw it with your washer and dryer, and just picking up.
Jeff Schultz?
Yeah, and just like hauling it upstairs.
Yes, he was a beast that day.
And I was like, Jeff's strong.
He's very strong.
He's really strong. Like Superman strong. I would say let's talk about other things, but it's already been 13 minutes, so.
Hey man.
We'll save all that.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do this topic.
Topic time.
The topic is, and you will hear it when I say it this time, unlike last night, as I found out, Assassin's Creed Origins.
That's the topic?
That is the topic.
Crap, I played Wolfenstein.
The topic is... that would be funny. That would be so funny. But yeah.
Whoops.
We're going to do Wolfenstein at some point.
Yes, we will.
FYI. So just keep your eyes out. We still have to figure out if we're going to do something the week of Thanksgiving. We might take that off. But if not then, sometime afterwards, you'll get your Wolfenstein episode. I promise you, along with maybe even a Battlefront episode.
Ooh.
Maybe a Forza 7 episode. Ooh.
Well, of course we're going to do Battlefront, right? That's just got to be a given.
Yeah, I don't know who's getting it, though.
Oh, really?
I'm probably going to get it the next Friday after when our bonus hits. That's that's the day I'm picking.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Profit sharing. There. You want that? I had a funny story with that where like me and Jeff had dueling profit sharing calculators. And I was looking at it and I was like, I don't know if this is right. So I reached out to our mutual friend, the one who had sent me the one I was using, Josh. His last name starts with an O. And he comes back and he sends me something. He's like, well, I've actually made a newer one of this. And that was when I realized afterwards that he was actually the author of the other one that Jeff was using too. And I was like, I should have known because he's the guy who does this.
Of course.
Yeah. And that's my nerd story this is already going in the tank. We've already failed.
No, we haven't.
We hit height that we could never achieve again.
I'm riveted so far.
Ooh.
I'm hanging on your every word.
Ooh.
You feel it? You feel it?
Penny feels it. That's why she's over here.
Oh, that's weird.
Wait, what?
That's a weird statement.
But yeah, Assassin's Creed Origins. I really like it.
Do you just like it or do you love it?
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm amazed how much I love this game.
Yeah, I'm amazed too at how much you love this game, and it's actually quite cool for me. I'm kind of enjoying this, not as a haha, but as like
no. I mean, look, I've never had a hatred on Assassin's Creed, but
we've had some arguments about Assassin's Creed. Though.
Assassin's Creed is like kind of to me like Ubisoft's Madden, and I say that with all respect because like Madden is this franchise that it's the king of what it's done. There's a reason why they got the contract that they got, and why the fact that it's one of the best selling sports games every year.
Sure.
But the thing is that there are legacy issues that have plagued that for a long time.
Right.
And there are times that you're just like, God, I'm getting to a point
you
need to address this. And when they finally do, you're just like, oh God, this just got so much better. Yeah. And it kind of felt like maybe we were getting to that point with Assassin's Creed where it was like, why is this an annualized franchise? Why are you consistently, if your whole entire origin stuff, like as far as like what the first civilization and the future and all that means, like, why are you just going so nonchalant with this now? Like if it doesn't matter, then just throw it away, do whatever you need to do, or else figure out something that works, because this is kind of frustrating to me.
I definitely see that. For me, the series has always been a game that gives me something I want every year. It connects me with a historical setting. I might not be so down on the historical setting, like the French Revolution.
Mm-hmm. That's where freedom got invented.
No, it's not.
It's fun to say that to you.
That's not where freedom got invented. That's where authoritarianism got invented.
Tried to come back, yeah.
But I just love the idea. Like, I'll never forget, regardless of what you think of the game, when they announced Assassin's Creed 3 and its setting.
Oh, yeah. Everyone went.
I was down. An Assassin's Creed game taking place in one of my favorite periods in history. That's a definite. And then a couple of games later, I get thrown into Victorian era London during the Industrial Revolution. It's just this series has given me settings in a historical sense. And if ever somebody tries to tell me something about history, I go, hold on, that didn't happen in Assassin's Creed.
That can't be real.
So it can't be real.
But
I know, it's gotten long in the teeth over the years, and there's problems with it that, over the years just got a little bit too, okay, it's 2017, this needs to be fixed.
Yeah, to me, it kind of felt like we were getting to the point where it just felt like I was playing the same game in a different city, and that's not a good thing. Like, I think to its credit, when Assassin's Creed started out, obviously it was meant to be like kind of a Prince of Persia game, and someone said, we can make this better. Being taken away, whatever the issues for the first game were, being taken away and going to classic Jerusalem and all that setting during the Crusades, that's like a really interesting thing. Like, you just didn't see games in that kind of setting and going and exploring that time period. So to do that and to be able to walk around in that world and get some sense of what was going on at that time was really cool and original.
Yeah.
And then you went from there to the Renaissance, and that was such a juxtaposition from the first game and where that was at, that it felt so cool and like a new revolution. And then we stuck around with Ezio, which was fine because he was a cool character. The American Revolution tried to be, it didn't quite work out, but still, it was a leap. And after that, outside of maybe Black Flags, which still has some ties because of the ship combat in the third game, it started to feel like we were just kind of repeating, just moving the setting a little bit. Like Unity and Syndicate feel very similar to me. They just they're both one city games, and they're both in Europe. Just a couple of 100 years or about 100 years apart.
Well, tell me this, Chris.
Yeah.
If you were stranded on a desert island,
and
that you knew you could only play one series, and that was Assassin's Creed, but you got to choose only 3 of those games, which 3 would you get?
I would probably get AC2. Have to get AC2.
Yeah, I think that's...
I would probably get Black Flag, and then I would probably get this one here, Origins. Those would probably be my 3 of all of them that I've enjoyed the most. There's just, the ship one is, because like the best part of 3 was that ship stuff, and then someone took it and said, we can really make this work.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, Assassin's Creed doesn't get as much credit as it deserves for it. While the mechanics can seem so familiar, it's redefined itself at least 2 or 3 times. This being the 3rd time. Assassin's Creed 2 revitalized it, put a shot in the arm, and then Black Flag came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was the one.
When I saw that game first advertised, I'm like, I don't think I want to play this. This is ships. But when I got my hands on it, I couldn't get enough of it.
I always felt bad for that one because
it sold amazingly.
I think it sold well, but I think it also took a little bit of a hit because people felt let down from the 3rd one that had come out the year before. Like people,
the 3rd one's I think the best selling one.
Yeah,
by far.
And that tells you things move in waves. And I always say you shouldn't judge something necessarily because of what it did that time. You have to kind of look in context of what came before it and then what happened afterwards. Like I think the key to people that Unity had such a big problem was that Syndicate was well received, much more well received than Unity ever was at launch.
I love Syndicate a lot.
It's of the main games, it's the least selling one now.
Yeah, that's true.
Versus here, we've already got news here that Origins, you can tell just how much, one, the fact the break probably helped them reset, but 2, that Syndicate was a good game that now apparently they've already doubled their sales in the first week or whatever it was.
I think it's selling at twice the rate. I think is what they said. Yeah, I could be wrong.
Like I think it was like the first 7 days or something like this. This doubled whatever Syndicate did.
So tell me why this one has gotten your attention.
I think the big thing is evolution. That's what I would tell people. I'm like, I feel like that year off, obviously this game has been in development for a long time. Like we first heard rumblings back in 2000, I think it was like 14 or 15 that they were planning to do an Eygpt game. And I mean, this game, right about the time Syndicate came out, we got our annual leak from Kotaku where it's like, it's going to be Egypt. And John was like, it's not going to be that. And it's like, it's going to be that, John. But I think, it's clear that they took some time and stepped back and saw what, say, like something like The Witcher, which I think was the open world game that really, of all the ones that have come out in the last couple of years, that's been the one that everyone took a step back and said, we need more of that in gaming. Yeah. So it took that.
Made a huge impact.
And it said, how do we apply that to the Assassin's Creed formula, first off? And second, how do we take things that maybe have gotten just stale or just way too built out in a way that they're becoming almost a joke to themselves, like the crafting system from the last couple games, which started out as this like really kind of simple thing. And then all of a sudden became this like, you've got to get all these different things to make all 50 types of combinations. And you really don't have an idea of what the advantage of any of these things are. Mm-hmm. It got rid of all that and said, no, you just got a couple of things you can craft. It's pretty clear that, the more you get to the higher level, the more it helps you. That's it. Yeah. And then it also took the idea of, instead of having a map with a bunch of icons on it just thrown up on the screen that are primarily just collectibles 9 times out of 10, instead of doing that, let's give you question marks across the map, kind of like what Witcher does. And instead of those just being collectibles, those can be a variety of types of side missions that not only don't have really a plot to them, but each have their own gimmick to you and help you progress throughout the game. And it leaves you with a sense of wonder because you never know what you're going to get when you get to the next question mark. It could be this temple that you go through and you explore catacombs trying to find an ancient tablet. It could be a lair of animals which you then can hunt down and use it to craft things later on. It could be a whole entire fort which, you have to, in order to defeat the fort, you have to kill the captain of the fort and get the treasure. You could do that and that's it and just leave, or you could literally go through and murder everyone. It's up to you.
I know what I'm doing.
And there's no punishment. Like there's no skill tree that's like, as far as abilities, that's locked off just because you haven't progressed far enough in the story. There's nothing holding you back. As long as you've gone out there and done something, the game lets you play how you want to play, invest in the things you want to play, and do the activities you want to do, and you will be rewarded for it. And that's the thing that got everyone really hype about Witcher, and that's what they seem to have learned now. There's no wrong way or order to play this game. There's only what you want to do. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would say. Yeah,
it's definitely... I think one of the things that got me when I got this game, it was I jumped into it going, I think this is Assassin's Creed, but I'm just not quite sure. It's almost like, and I feel like I'm stealing someone's idea because it was maybe said yesterday, but it's almost like you haven't seen a friend in 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's like you get together with that friend for the first time in 2 years and it's him.
But it
sounds the same.
Yeah.
But he's changed a little bit. He's grown as a person.
Yeah, it's that friend who moved to like a different city and now, you might talk to him every day or whatever, but it's not the same as actually being around.
Yeah, so I started playing the game and that's how I felt. I'm like, this has like, it feels like an Assassin's Creed game, but it doesn't at the same time. Like, and I think you would agree on this. Like the game didn't immediately start and grab you from the moment it started. It was like, I don't know. And I guess that's how that was for me. I was playing it going, oh my gosh, have I been away from this too long that I've basically played it for the first time and gone, I don't know that I've ever liked Assassin's Creed. I was actually very unsure of myself when I started playing this game. I'm like, have I just been lying to myself for 10 years about this franchise? Yeah. Well, John, yes, you have.
Yeah, I was a little worried too because it just kind of drops you in.
It does.
The story wise,
no context.
No, you just drop in your Bayek and you're apparently a magi of Egypt, which is kind of like a protector, a dying guard.
Like a sheriff.
From what I've gathered, like it was a real service of people, and they kind of died out at some point around this time period. So you're Bayek, and you're kind of like given no context, but you're watching this cutscene, and then it skips forward a year, and over about the first 5 or 6 hours, you finally start to get your context of what actually happened and why Bayek is apparently on this revenge quest.
The only thing you really seem to know is that it seems like you've kind of, from everybody's perspective, you've kind of come back from the dead.
Yeah.
Like everybody was like,
oh, you're gone.
Because everybody in that town, forget what it's, Siwa? I think it's called Siwa. They're like, everybody that you pass is like, Bayek, welcome back. Hey,
getting the band back together. You just do the little snap finger point. Hey,
exactly.
I'm a magi.
Bayek, you never responded to my emails. Just all that stuff. But it just jumps you in. But you soon forget after about an hour or so that you start having faith that the game is going to fill you in. Like
sure.
While you might be confused, you start to immediately feel like there's purpose behind it and what it's trying to do. So that being said, I think it's obvious you've played a significant more. I'm like at a level 17 or 18, but
I'm at 25 now.
Are you? How's the story for you? Is it good story or is it like serviceable at this point?
Story is solid. I haven't gotten to the latter stages, but it does a good job story wise of, this is a game called Origin. So
wait, what?
Assassin's
what do you think they're getting at?
Assassin's Creed has set up a lot over the years without maybe giving too much concept as to like where these traditions came from.
Right.
You just know they've always been part of the Brotherhood, right?
No, they started with Altair.
Yeah, apparently. But here you actually start to find out certain things to the history, and that's been the rewarding part. Like, you know what the feathers mean now. You know why they used to chop off one finger on the hand that has the hidden blade. Along with the, even where the eagle sense, I guess, in a way, started to kind of work that in there with the sensu, whatever that eagle.
Sinu.
Yeah.
Sinu.
Isn't that a governor?
That's Sununu.
Sununu. That's funny. But, story-wise, it does build up. It gives you, like, it hasn't been like, we are assassins.
Yeah.
And we are brotherhood.
That term has not even been used yet.
No.
As I've progressed, that concept is not even introduced yet.
I mean, like, it's more, to me, the idea is you are this guy who is supposed to be the protector of Egypt. And as you start out, it's mainly for revenge, for self-purpose revenge, your own pains, if you will. But as you get more involved and you realize that this has multiple layers going on to just your own problems, it becomes about what you're willing to do to protect your land.
Yeah, your purpose is no longer selfish.
Yeah.
It becomes more selfless.
And as you see that, then you kind of see like where, okay, even though they might not specifically call themselves assassins at some point in this game, I have no idea. You get the idea of like, well, where that whole entire idea of the brotherhood comes from, the whole entire everything is permitted, all that, it's like, do what you have to do to protect our people, so, and that's kind of how you feel like, you got to kill someone, you go kill them.
Well,
do it.
We do not endorse that idea here on the
I know. At least in this world it is. And let me tell you what, John, there's a lot of killing in this game. Bayak, he doesn't care. He takes out that blade or that sword or that mace, whatever. And you go like, you got a problem? Well, I got a weapon to put in that problem. And he just stabs whoever. I mean, even like we were commenting on this, like when you're on your horse, you would think like protector of Egypt, right? People in the street, they're poor, they're just innocent children, whatever. You would think the guy on the horse who's the protector of Egypt would slightly veer to the right when the child's standing in front of him in the street and you're racing down. No. Bayak, he ain't got time for that. Everything is permitted. Hit the kid and keep going.
So let's talk about the world. I heard, actually read this today, that it takes approximately 3 hours to walk across the map.
Yeah,
and that's a pretty big map.
Yeah, I think he said that's this guy does this with all these kind of games. And I think he said this was the biggest by far for Assassin's Creed for him to do this. The biggest, if you're wondering, that he's ever done, I believe, is Just Cause 3, which took him 8 hours to walk across. Yeah. Yeah, those maps are way too big sometimes. I think that.
How big was Skyrim's?
Skyrim was pretty big. I don't know how long it took him, though. I would have to go look. I'm sure. I would imagine it's probably smaller than this. But yeah, it is their largest map, and yeah, I think it's their best map. John and I talked about this yesterday, and I think we both agreed, right, that we think this is probably one of their most realized as far as just like a world.
The world is alive.
Yes, you feel like you start out this game and you're in as he said, in Sibwa, which is kind of this isolated village with mountains around it, but afterwards, as you head in and you come up upon this lake, you just see like. Right there, you can see the juxtaposition where it's like to your left, it's the sands of the desert. To your right, it's just this beautiful lake community. And you see like, this is how Egyptian culture thrived for so long, is that, yes, it has these very rough patches and things like that of land, but then it just has these deltas and just oases that make you see they're just breathing full of life. There's hippos, there's crocodiles, there's leopards. And
plus,
all of this.
Growing up, going to school, learning about Egypt is like this, because of the pyramids and all these other artifacts and monuments out there. It's like an otherworldly place.
It really is
in your mind. So to see it open up the way it does in Assassin's Creed, like, you said this yesterday, wait till you open up the map a little more. But so far, everywhere I am on the map, I can look at some direction and see the pyramids. Now, you say that changes.
It does. I mean, like, I just got to Memphis. And that feels so different than where I've been.
Tennessee's nice this time of year.
Yeah, I think it's easy to forget like Memphis, and then I think Philadelphia is in the game too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, like we all forget that these are Egyptian cities.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also interesting too because again, kind of similar to Assassin's Creed 2, the Nomad that was kind of way past, of course, the Roman Empire or whatever. But there's that point where you're reminded here, this is in the time of Cleopatra, which is towards the end of the Egyptian dynasties and all that, as far as their dominance in the world. And you're going around what is at this point relics of the past, like the pyramids of Giza were built like 2,000 years prior to that, so you kind of get that sense, and you see the sand has begun to cover up these places and has yet to been excavated, because I don't know if you know this, they didn't have a lot of archaeologists in classic BC era Egypt. They kind of came a little bit later when the world had stabilized.
Does the Sphinx still have its nose?
It does. That didn't happen until Napoleon, I believe.
No, that didn't happen until Aladdin and Jasmine flew by.
I don't think that's accurate. I think,
come on.
I don't. I think those are fictional characters.
Are you
John.
saying Disney lied to me?
Yes. Actually, no, they didn't. They told you it was a fictional story.
I got to go.
Yeah. I don't know how to tell you.
I have
There's
to
no
assess
change.
these things.
But you get that. Like, there are parts where you go to the mountains and there's these canyons. And I was telling John, it feels like kind of like you're walking down this canyon to old Ben Kenobi's place, and you're just waiting for the sand people to pop up and try to attack you. But it's fine. They scare easy. But they come back in greater numbers.
And in greater numbers.
So, you really feel like no matter where you are in the country or on the map, you feel like you're in a distinct point, and they've got their own feel to them as far as like things that matter there.
Yeah, you tell me. You've played. You've covered more of the map. Mm-hmm. Do things look like this looks like a section over here? Because to me, so far, everything seems very distinct. It doesn't seem like it does a lot of repetition.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any.
I've never heard a townsperson say the same thing that it said that another townsperson said 2 hours before. Like in other Assassin's Creed games, they reutilize
they have
dialogue and all that stuff. They really seem to have built this up.
It also does a good job as the way weather works in the game. I've noticed like it's tied to certain events at first, but like you don't see sandstorms at first. And all of a sudden you have a mission where it comes up, and all of a sudden then you'll be going across the desert, and all of a sudden here it comes again. You're like, oh dear Lord. And now that I'm in Memphis, I'm noticing there's tons of dark clouds around the city. So I'm like, here comes the storm. So it does a good job of just like kind of not showing you what an experience for Egypt is for those kinds of things until they're ready to show it to you, which I kind of liked. That was pretty cool.
Sandstorms are deadly though.
But yeah, as far as like repeating things, I haven't heard anything yet. And it doesn't look like they're just continuously reusing their assets. It does feel like there are tombs in each one, even though of course, there's going to be like pots in every single one. Every one of them kind of feels unique as far as the way what you're navigating towards, the tomb that you're going to.
So this combat is right up your alley.
Yeah, for the most part. I don't think it is the best combat in any game I've ever played, but I will say one of those things that was a legacy issue for me when we were getting to with Assassin's Creed, it was turning into basically just continuously hit square until they swing at you, and then hit triangle and counter, and then you go into like murder, spree, because you could chain together all these counter deaths in a row that were like one hit kills.
And to me, it was glorious.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun, but it wasn't anything memorable. With this, they've kind of more so taken the approach of if you've played either Neo or Dark Souls or even The Witcher to a lesser extent, where it is a light and heavy attack. Those are tied to your right button and your right trigger. And then you have a shield on your left button, and you can hold down the left trigger to pull up your bow and arrow, and then press right trigger to shoot it. So, when you see a guy who's in front of you and he's got a shield, you lock onto him and you'll go up and you'll hit your heavy attack, your right trigger, and that will jostle him back. And then now you can use your light attacks to get really quick hits on him. Or maybe his shield is really strong because he's a really powerful guy, so you can't even break through. You watch him, and when he comes and he swings at you, you press B on your controller, which uses your shield to parry him off of you and opens him up, and then you go stab. Or say he's got a wide sweeping weapon, you have a dodge button, so like when he lunges in, you dodge to the left or right and you get behind him, and now you can come up and do a bunch of damage behind him while he's unprotected. It makes you look at who you're facing and figure out what's the way to get past his defenses. And it also makes it a scenario where, unlike the last couple of Assassin's Creeds especially, you can't just go into a field with 20, 30 people and feel like you're going to be able to handle it. Like, having 3 or 4 people can be some work in this game if you're not paying attention to everything going around you.
Definitely. Yeah, to me, I was always a fan of how dominant that combat system made you feel in an Assassin's Creed game.
Sure.
And one of the things that I've noticed with the combat in this game is you start off and it's very, it's not the right shoulder button for an attack.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, just did not come off as very naturally.
It's an adjustment.
It is definitely an adjustment. And on top of that, I don't know if it's that makes the combat initially out the gate clunky.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where you have to give the
developers.
No, brain freeze. That's how you get the skill trees. You have to give the skill trees credit because you start out clunky, but those skill trees and how you progress them make you a much more seamless fighter. You start getting. Are you laughing at me?
No,
Chris?
I'm just saying. Now I am not so clunky. Ha ha! I take you down.
And to that, the skill tree base has like three different branches that
correct
that allow you to focus on, if you want to be a combat focused on your bow, or combat focused on your primary weapon,
mm-hmm.
or combat focused on, I guess that third tree is like helps with stealth and things like that, like sleep darts and stuff like that.
Secondary items, basically. Yeah.
And you get to really kind of pick and choose
mm-hmm.
what kind of assassin you want to be. I'm really trying to build up that bow skill tree, but I tell you what, you told me last night about the certain skill tree path that you were taking. Yeah,
I've gotten to the point. The top skill for the warrior one is, and I think this is also true for the bow, if you get it all the way out, it allows you to dump an unlimited amount of points that raises your damage for melee weapons by 1%. So I'm very conflicted on using all my ability points now that I have that unlocked to unlock the rest of all the skill tree, or just continuously pumping that in there to the point where I have like 30% extra damage coming off my weapons.
Yeah. And I think every every branch has that max level that has that 1% feature
correct. On
it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that skill tree branching out.
I do like using the bow though. Yeah. The bow is especially the Predator one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, ooh, you're gonna die. That's where I feel like I'm in Far Cry because it zooms into the first person perspective.
Yes.
But yeah, I think this game is great.
Game of the year.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I will say is probably in my top 5, and the only
Ladies and gentlemen, an Assassin's Creed game is in Chris's top 5 so far.
Hey, Assassin's Creed 2 might have been my game of the year that came out. So
interesting. Brotherhood's better.
Brotherhood is really good.
I think GameSpot says Brotherhood's better.
Brotherhood is more realized, but you have to give credit to 2 because it sets the standard.
It sets the standard.
Whoever's first is the one who gets the prize. That's the way it works.
Right.
But yeah, I was shocked how much there were 2 of these kind of games come out this fall, Shadow of War and this. And if you told me at the beginning of the year which one I was more anticipated for, it was definitely Shadow of War. I found myself rushing towards the end of Shadow of War because I was just ready for it to be over. Like it was a game that I think that series right now is long in the tooth, where I was like, oh, you had a really cool, innovative idea for the first one, and yeah, that's still here, but now I'm starting to see where your paint's thin on all these other little issues that you really didn't address, so you need to go maybe work on that. But with this game, I just find myself not doing any of the main missions right now because all I want to do is run around to every question mark and go to every tomb and make sure I do every side quest for an area before I move on.
That's when you know a game's good.
Yeah, that is the I don't remember the last time I've had an Ubisoft game that pulled me in that hard. And that's a testament. Like I really enjoyed Watch Dogs 2. I thought that was a solid game, and I usually always enjoy the Far Cry's. Out there outside of Primal was maybe my one exception that wasn't too high on it.
Shut up.
But this one, yeah, I want to do every little thing. And I'm really happy that we're in the time of year now where, because of when this came out, sure, I have to run through Call of Duty, Battlefront, and probably Wolfenstein. Besides that, I don't see myself playing anything else in the near future except more Assassin's Creed Origins.
Well, it's interesting. And, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, when it came out, everybody agreed that it was an improvement over Unity by a long shot.
Stability, for sure.
It didn't really transcend, and I know Metacritic, whatever, it didn't really transcend or get above 80. It got close, but it didn't really, it stayed in the 70s. This game, I was kind of expecting or hoping for that Assassin's Creed 2 level of, whoa, this was amazing. This was worth the wait. Whoa. And I think it's gotten some solid reviews. IGN gave it a 9. I think it was GameSpot that might have lowballed it to a 7. I think. Don't quote me on that. But it just hasn't. I think it's maybe an 82 or an 83 right now, sitting at Metacritic. And it's just like, wow, this isn't really what we were thinking. Because when you previewed it, when everybody got their hands on it, I just expected this was going to be a really critically smashed experience, but it just really hasn't been. So I'm just like, I wonder if the developers are sitting there going, we thought we were going to really knock this out.
They're sitting there going, oh, we got double sales?
Yeah, that's true, but I don't know. It's like most people seem to say that this is a step in the right direction.
For sure.
And we can't wait to see what they do from this template that they've created.
I think it's going to be...
So in that sense, it's good. And IGN did give it a 9, and I kind of, so far, I don't argue with that score.
I think this is going to be kind of the same way how Black Flag was, because Black Flag didn't review amazingly well. Because I remember there were a lot of people, that was the first game where it was like, yeah, we're just going to go with it. Look, you found the outfit of assassin, and apparently because you're a pirate, you're acrobat guy, so you'll be fine.
I vacationed in the Caribbean that year.
Yeah, but
I was a pirate.
The thing about it is that I think as more people buy this and play it and really get into it, this might be one kind of like how Black Flag became, where it was like months later they're like, yeah, you know what, maybe this isn't, from a critic's eye or whatever, isn't perfect or whatever, it could be better, but damn if this game isn't just fun, and it's definitely not, and it's a world you want to get lost in. Yeah. And if you're doing that, you're in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. I'll give you a shot at least. Yeah, you might not be my game of the year, but I'll gladly spend many more hours than I ended up spending in Mass Effect Andromeda. So, yeah. And
I'll say for what I've played, and I can only speak for what I've played, if you left the series a while back and this is a good place to get back into it.
For sure.
And if you've never played, I don't think so far what I've played, you're lost if you have no context for the series.
Penny found my expired driver's license. I was like, where?
It's amazing what she digs up.
And now she's just going to shoot. Like, God.
You want
to go to the news?
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you grab that and we'll go to the news.
Hot off the press and straight to your ears. Weekly Games Chat presents
The news. News. 67.5 million shipped PS4s. That's a lot.
Say that again. How many, Chris?
67.5.
Interesting.
675 PS4. That's not the way
That's
that
really
goes.
lame. Let's move on.
Sony has revealed that 67.5 million PS4s have been shipped as of September 30th of this year.
So big.
These numbers have resulted in the company raising predictions to meet 79 million units shipped by March of 2018. Sony's game and network services for PlayStation and PS Network have also seen an increase in revenue across the board. See, that makes sense.
At the expense of being repetitive.
Uh-huh.
That's a monster number, Chris.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I've heard that somewhere, though.
Right. See, that makes sense. Like, you have more consoles, so you probably should see more revenue on your network services.
Well,
and,
yeah.
and your PlayStation Network, right?
Absolutely.
They are the worldwide leader. Take that. Haha.
No. Xbox One X will take care of that real quick.
Xbox One XXX exclusive. 60 teraflops. I have it now. We didn't even mention that.
You want to take time to mention it?
I have it.
Is
It's
it
really
nice?
beautiful. It's
Is
really
it?
pretty box, and maybe
It's not there anymore. Are you sure you still have it?
yeah.
It's almost like I took it.
but the TV's on with it right now, John. You can see.
Don't look at the
screen in
TV.
back. Yeah, I like it. It's pretty.
How did you get so rich?
I didn't pay for this at all, technically.
Yeah, you did.
Everyone's like, huh? What?
What?
You'll never know. PUBG news.
I've heard of it.
PUBG Corp, makers of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, have announced the game will be launching on Xbox Game Preview on December 12th for $30. I think $29.99 if you want to be more accurate. This will still be the in-development version, so for those who do not know, at the end of this year is planned that the PC version will update with the desert map as the second one, and the game will then move to version 1.0, thus making it official release.
Why can't they just... I don't see the need for them to ever officially release it.
Money?
It's making money.
Yeah, but they'll probably raise the price to $60, kind of
You
like
think
how Ark Survival Evolved did that.
They should not do that. They should just...
Why? Make more money?
No. I mean, no, I don't have a problem,
Yeah.
but I just don't think they need to raise it that much.
Probably
People are
not.
still going to throw money at it anyway.
True.
And let's do loot boxes.
Oh, yeah. They actually have them in there.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they're all cosmetic, though. PUBG has now sold over 18 million units. That's 8 million copies in the past 8 weeks.
That's a lot.
Regarding that success, creative director Brandon Green stated, "We published on Steam, and that has allowed us to sell millions and millions of copies without having any marketing budget, essentially, showing that you don't need necessarily the same marketing or PR budget as AAA games to really sell a lot of copies." That's a fair point. It's
Word
the
of
one
mouth
thing
will get it done.
I think that's
every
the
time.
one thing that PC really owns over the consoles right now. Like, the consoles with their indie games haven't quite figured out the best way to take something that is small, indie made, and get it where everyone seems to be like, have you seen this? We need to check this out. The only time that's happened is Rocket League, and that was because it was made free for people the day it came out.
Yeah, a PC player in general, I guess this is anecdotal, but it's just always, I get the sense that they're just paying more attention
Yeah.
to the content out there.
Well, I think it's because the modding community, right?
Yeah.
Like they go out there and they play these mods of these things, and someone says like, "Hey, that guy's going off to make his own game now," and they keep tabs on it. And when it comes out, they go, "Oh man, PlayerUnknown finally made his
You're right.
his game.
Yeah.
I need to go try that."
Definitely.
So that's what happens.
Good for them, though. That's a monster number. Yet
It is.
again.
It is.
Wait, and that was that's you might have read that already, but that's 8 million
Yeah.
in a
8 weeks. That means it's selling 1 million a week, John.
jeez.
I mean, like, by the time people have read this, they've probably sold another 500,000 copies. Super Mario Odyssey is a hit. Shocker. According to estimates by Nintendo, Super Mario Odyssey has sold over 2 million copies during its first 3 days of availability. That figure includes both physical and digital sales, as well as copies included with Switch bundles. Furthermore, it has been confirmed that Super Mario Odyssey is the fastest-selling Mario title in Europe and the United States. I love that game.
I wonder if And I take it at face value, of course, but I wonder if it's talking about 3D Mario titles.
I think it's probably talking about all of them. And I'll say this. You have to remember, like, something like original Super Mario Bros.
No, not just that.
Or even Super Mario Bros. 3.
Mario Wii sold a ton of copies over its lifespan.
It did.
I think almost 36 million.
You almost wonder, though, is that in part just because...
And I don't know, but they didn't bundle it until much later.
That'll do it, though, still.
I guess so.
I think this will...
They bundled it in the red version of the Wii, which I had for a while.
You did. I remember that. I think this will... I would not be surprised if in the long run this ends up being the biggest selling title on the Wii. Or on the Switch, sorry.
Yeah.
Nothing against Zelda. It's just that I feel like we all know who the king of that company is. You know,
absolutely.
People love them.
Yeah, they always. Mario always consistently sells better than Zelda.
Yeah, this is true. EA has commitment issues. We had a better segue for that yesterday, and they'll never hear it now.
Do you remember it?
I just remember we were talking about things.
Speaking of Odyssey,
talking.
EA has commitment issues.
I think like we were talking about the upcoming calendar for Switch and how it's kind of a little bare bones at the moment, you know, for a huge hit. And, you know, in part it was because people weren't committing new games third party wise that could help. And you said like, yeah, they've got a lot of commitment issues. And I went, speaking of commitment.
Well, Chris, here's the thing, man. You and I were just so...
It's like being in the zone.
And no one will ever know what that...
Like, I was Mike, and you were Scotty. Do you get what I'm saying here?
Who's Mike and Scotty?
Dear God, John. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen?
Oh, yeah. I was Scotty? No, dog. I was Michael Jordan.
I mean, I was running this. You know?
Right.
And it just dropped. But EA has commitment issues, John. Following the recent release of FIFA on the Switch, Electronic Arts is not in any rush to announce new software for the platform. According to the CFO, Blake Jorgensen, that's a great name.
Love it.
It's too early to judge the success of FIFA on Switch. EA wants to, quote, fully understand what the demand is for the platform before committing more development resources to making new games for the platform. Translation. We didn't make a lot of money on this. We don't know if we want to spend a lot more money to make other things because we don't know how many people are going to buy them things on this console.
And that's the thing. And look, it's almost like we're repeating the past, but
we really
I just feel like I don't know. It's like EA thinks that Switch is only.
Yep. I think it's
that the Switch is just going to peter out over time, but
I don't think that
it's like once, but the figures once they sell their new projections, if they reach that projection, I think it was 14 million by the end of fiscal year. This is Switch I'm talking about.
It'd be March 2018.
That's on par, if not surpassing, the pace of the PlayStation 4.
Sure, but the question is the difference there. Whereas they might have. Say they have 14 million PlayStation 4s. How many of those people buy their games on PlayStation 4 versus if they own both a PlayStation and a Switch? How many of those people actually buy their games on Switch?
Yeah, that's
and
true.
And that was the problem last gen or going back to the Wii, where it was like, hey, yeah, we put Call of Duty out, and there's some people who buy it there, but the overwhelming majority of people are buying it on these other two systems.
Yeah, but it's worth considering the reason that the Switch, one of the reasons at least, it's worth considering the success of the Switch is because it's carving out a new audience, a niche audience.
Sure.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that indie developers, whatever that really means, indie developers are extremely happy with Nintendo Switch these days.
Payne's really extremely happy with that toy she just found.
I know.
So
you gonna go take care of that?
I am. You keep talking.
Yeah, but I just went with FIFA. I guess what I mean is FIFA just wasn't the right game to test on that platform. You know, I'm sure EA has some indie titles that they put out there. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. And maybe I'm thinking of Ubisoft.
I think you are.
But there's got to be something.
The only thing I remember was Unraveled.
Yeah, that was EA.
And that was 2 years ago.
And that's a no-brainer for the Switch.
Yeah,
it really is.
It would be. I think
And there's just certain games with every company, whether it's Ubisoft, EA, or Activision, that are no-brainers for that platform. And I said this, and you made a great point yesterday to counter this, but there's so many people out there in the industry who are constantly saying, I would love to play this on the Switch.
Sure.
And you're saying, you made the comment yesterday that most of those people live in the Bay Area and they ride trains to work and they have that.
There's two different people out there. Like, I think if you're the person like who's in the game industry, or you live just in like New York, Chicago, whatever, you're probably not driving every day. So I totally understand if you're going to have to go sit on some sort of subway for 45 minutes to an hour, or bus, whatever, taxi. Yeah, why not get yourself a Switch or something like that and play some of these games on there? Because it's something to do to pass the time. And you were already doing this on your phone, probably. I see you do it whenever we go to lunch every day, right? You know, you'll pull out your phone and check your games or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So I can understand that, but I think the vast majority of us, we drive to work ourselves, so we don't have that luxury. So having something that's necessarily mobile isn't the number one thing that drives us. What we want is something that when you get home, you know, you can plug into and kind of be taken away to an experience that isn't of this world or whatever, and have some escapism, and also have the ability to easily buddy up with friends and have a conversation, even though you're not in the same house or whatever, right? Not in the same room. And that's what I think some people really want about that. So it's easy to look from a industry standpoint to see why they're so on board, because yes, this really does fit into their lives versus maybe some other people who do not.
Fee is an indie game.
Oh yeah,
Fee.
Okay, that's your one, huh? But yeah,
Case closed, Chris.
It has been the biggest conundrum for about 10 years. Like, I remember someone pulled up at the end of the Wii, the top 25 selling games on the platform. And I think of the top 25, 20 of them were Nintendo developed games. Mm-hmm. You know, they weren't things that they weren't Call of Duties. I think the ones that of the 5, I think that were on the list that were not, I think they were all, I could be mistaken, but I'm almost certain they were all Just Dance games, which makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
But I bet you that when in the next couple of months, the developers of Stardew Valley are going to be really glad they put it on the Switch.
Sure. I mean,
not to mention Rocket League.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll definitely be a market there for those things. I mean, shoot, I guarantee you there's a reason why Microsoft is putting Minecraft on that console, and I'm sure it's because they know there's probably going to be a market for it, and they can make money. I agree with you, and I said that a while back. I said I think this thing could easily carve out its niche as being the kind of indie game machine for people that like takes all these things from Steam and is the one who brings them to console, and that's what they should focus on. I hope that is enough to keep people feel like their purchase is validated, you know, in between getting these big Nintendo titles, because that just might be the truth of it. And it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the Switch did what it needed to do, regardless of whether it works or not.
Sure. It's doing just fine. News from BlizzCon, which is Blizzard's annual celebration of all things Blizzard. Overwatch has announced a new hero and new map. Moira is the brand new hero character. There will also be a new theme park inspired hybrid assault payload map called Blizzard World. Looks pretty cool. I can't wait to see it. World of Warcraft is getting a new expansion called Battle of Azeroth. Additionally, they are also going to be offering a classic server option that plays vanilla World of Warcraft. So World of Warcraft as it was in 2004.
Who would want to play that?
Everyone. There's a large number of people that's all they want to go back to is classic WoW.
Is it like because it's so grindy, or is it like
that part? And there are certain quests and such that you can't even play anymore because of Cataclysm. Cataclysm kind of redefined certain parts of the game because Deathwing.
Meaning that was an expansion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Deathwing came and he effed everything up. New characters have been announced for Heroes of the Storm. Alex Straza from World of Warcraft and Hanzo from Overwatch. Hanzo. Hearthstone will receive a new expansion called Kobolds and Catacombs, which is described as a love letter to old school fantasy dungeon crawlers. Dungeon Run is also a new single player game mode for Hearthstone, described as a Hearthstone roguelike. Hope you like dying. StarCraft 2 will be going free to play on November 14th. It's pretty awesome.
Yes, for sure. I got to say, though.
You wanted a Blizzard. Or you wanted a Diablo announcement.
Well, yes, of course. I mean, who doesn't? But if there's anything that would ever make me play Overwatch, it's that Blizzard World level. That's got to be something really cool.
Not Hanzo.
No, of course
Not
not.
Reinhardt.
Yeah.
Not Bastion.
Reinhardt's a pansy.
What?
I have no idea.
He's right there.
I have no
He's got a big hammer and he's from Germany.
Get to the chopper.
Pretty much. House Marquee. This is sad.
Yes, it is.
Abandoning the shoot 'em up genre. The maker of Resogun and Nex Machina is moving away from developing arcade games due to poor sales. According to CEO and co-founder of House Marquee, Ilary Cutin.
You got it.
That's about as good as we're going to get. Quote, despite critical success and numerous awards, our games just haven't sold in significant numbers. While some of them have reached a massive audience due to free game offerings across various digital sales channels, this unfortunately doesn't help pay for the development, which gets costly for high production quality. Sad.
A lot of things to unpack here. Not really, but I think anyone can agree, like, particularly in the early days of the PS4, that was like the best. Resogun was the best game on the system.
Yeah, that was their best exclusive.
And it's still, you could still make a case that it is. It's just, to me, I just had this thought. It's like, because he says some of the games have reached a massive audience. Well, you know that game's Resogun.
For sure.
The PlayStation,
and probably Stardust.
Maybe,
Stardust.
but Sony threw Resogun at people. They gave it away for free.
Day one.
It's like players will take advantage of a game like that, and they'll play the snot out of it, and everybody will get it. But it's like, hey guys, you got this game for free. You know how amazing it is. Here's their next one, and you don't care. You don't buy it.
Yeah.
It's like you have this expectation. It's almost like it's set up an expectation that I want this for free too.
Yeah, that will come to PlayStation Plus eventually, and I'll pick it up. That should never be your mindset.
If it's good, and I don't know, I just wish people would give them their money. They deserved it.
Give him his money. Pay that man. Yeah, it makes me sad. It just shows that when you have a developer that develops towards a niche and is really passionate about it, yes, that can result in some really great games, but when that niche isn't something that is wide scale, it kind of shows just how hard it is to keep doing what you want to do without maybe making some sort of compromise.
And it goes to show you, people just want the big explosions. That's the only thing that they think they can pay for.
Nex Machina has plenty of big explosions, and you haven't played it. I played it.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Where's your commitment?
Thanks for shaming me.
Why don't you go? You talk to pay them their money.
Let me clarify. I'm speaking.
Yeah.
Of myself as well.
The Walking Dead: The Telltale Collection. The Walking Dead: The Telltale series collection has been announced for release and will include all 19 episodes for the series. The collection will cost $49.99 and will be available on December 5th. Hey, it's my dad's birthday. For PS4 and Xbox One, both digitally and physically across North America and Europe. Take that, Japan. You don't get it. We mentioned this yesterday, but unfortunately there was also some bad news for Telltale this week. Apparently they are cutting 25% of their workforce, and they will be all the games they've already announced that are in development will be coming out, but afterwards they have said they will be scaling back and just more so focusing on a few series that they feel like, are really worth their investment, I guess is the best way to say.
Yeah. So we that's got to exclude a bunch of things like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I think
I haven't
that's
seen
gone.
that in a while.
I think it's gone. I think if I had to guess, Walking Dead's over, so I would say The Wolf Among Us, Borderlands and Batman. I would think that would be the three I could see them doing, and it would make the most sense.
Not Guardians?
Maybe Guardian. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how well that was received, so who knows? They know.
I wonder if they're trying to, because I've been harping on them for a while.
Yeah, we know you hate them.
Well, I just wonder if they're going, yeah, this formula has worked for a long time and it's served us well, but it's time to start making actual games. What?
Ooh,
what?
Dang. I think it's probably more so you start to, everyone's like, you should do this because, they're like, we got this property and we want to make a game because that's more revenue for us. And if you're Telltale, if you're getting that divided, eventually maybe it's hard to hold on to your profitability for these things because you've got to employ that many people to make these things.
Yeah.
And if you're going to sell them for the same price every time, eventually you hit a wall, right?
Yeah. Can you imagine if they should try to get a Doctor Who.
Oh, man. Don't say that, John.
I know who would play it.
That would work perfect. Doctor Who would be the kind of thing that would be perfect for them. Because Doctor Who is all about not having combat. It's about resolving intense situations through understanding, or the doctor gets pissed and he finds a way to kill you anyways. Get someone to do it. Look at this person.
What?
This little hunter tonight. Like, Daddy found something else.
Maybe you should just clean up around here.
I try, and I could have this place completely spotless.
Don't blame her.
I could remove the furniture,
and she'd find something.
And yeah, she would just come back and there'd be a severed head in her mouth, and she'd just be like, "Daddy found something," and I'd be like, "You're not supposed to know about that."
I feel like when you get accused of murder and indicted for murder, because we all know, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to happen at some point. They're going to go back to this podcast as evidence because you mentioned at one time a severed head.
Hey, I put away someone for murder. Put 3 people away, actually. Persona.
What is this?
It's a series.
I've heard of it.
And it's got sales.
We talked about it one time, didn't we?
Yesterday, literally.
No, I mean, we covered Persona 5.
But the Persona series has reached a milestone of 8.5 million units.
That's like GTA numbers.
Not quite. This figure includes physical and digital sales of the series since it launched back in 96. Shin Megami Tensei, I think I said that right.
Shin Megami Tensei.
I almost got there. Franchise, which Persona is a spin-off of, sits at 7.2 million sold across 28 total editions. The Yakuza games have sold 10.5 million units across 75 total editions. Jeez, that's a lot of editions, isn't it? The first game was released back in 2005, also known as 2005. I can just hear her hunting. Look, what are you doing? Why can't you just come and lie down, dog, and be normal?
Quit being distracted by your...
I'm going to start locking her in my room.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Lock her up with the corpse in there.
No, while we're recording this, but she'll just whine.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, she'd be like, I want to see John.
As someone who has taken care of that dog, she has the most awful whine.
Because she really wants you to know how much you're making her suffer. She really loves you. Why don't you love her back?
It's pathetic, man. I've never heard of anything.
Why? Oh, God.
It's like, it's like you're beating her with a stick.
She came in the bedroom. I'd casually hidden that I'd gotten her milk bone, right? Mm-hmm. And I laid down on the bed, and she walked in.
This doesn't sound like a good story.
She was looking at me, and then I just casually revealed it. And as soon as she saw it, she just started whining at me. She's like looking. I was like, I'm going to give it to you,
Do you think you're not going to get this?
But she's like, it's up there, and I'm down here. But yeah, congrats, Persona 5. Finally this week. Finally this week. Quantum Break has a big old patch. I said it like this yesterday, didn't I? With the recent Xbox One patch and complimentary TV show download, Quantum Break's file size is now a whopping 178 gigs.
Who doggy?
A patch comes over at 94 gigabytes. It's important to note that neither the One X or the TV show patch is necessary to play the game content. However, all combined, this makes for the largest Xbox One download on the platform.
So, Chris, if I were to download this, it would take me a month and 3 days.
I think it would take you a year.
You think so?
Like, if you start now, maybe by January, you'll be done.
You tested my internet once, didn't you?
I did.
It was
I
like
did.
2 MIPS.
It was pretty pathetic. Every time I go over to your
1.5
house,
MIPS.
I'm like, this is just oof.
But I watch Netflix just fine. I never have a problem with it.
Yeah, GF was almost as bad as yours, and then he recently upgraded. So
Nice.
you need to call and see if you can get something faster now.
I know. But then I have to pay for it.
FYI, folks who are planning to get an Xbox One X, you should be prepared for some very large
Patches.
and file sizes. I think like Gears of War and Halo 5 both came in over 100 gigs.
Did you have to download a patch for Origins?
I did, but it wasn't anything that big. The game's like 48 gigs. So
Yeah.
I think it's more of like the Microsoft exclusives that are there because obviously they want those things to look the best. So they're like, we're literally going to put in top-notch 4K high-res rendering assets. And to do that, it means you get a large file size. That's the price.
Big Daddy.
Yep. But
Xbox Big Daddy.
Xbox.
Exclusive.
Mr. Bubbles? You found an angel.
I think we ran out of news.
Yeah, I think that's it. You ready to wrap it up?
Never.
Okay.
Electronics. Mail.
There
I'm
you
trying
go.
to fill in for Sean.
Yeah, someone's got to do it. It's not going to be me.
Not very good at it.
If you want to hear your thoughts and opinions read by me terribly, you can write them into weeklygameschat@gmail.com. That is weeklygameschat@gmail.com, just like Dave did for the second week in a row. It says, hey, Chris, John and Sean, spelled Sean. And he said, sorry, dude. I'm really sorry, Dave. I know you went with the Shawn Michaels spelling last week, and you struck out. And now you went with the Sean, and you struck out again.
What's the Shawn Michaels?
Shawn Michaels is Shawn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sean doesn't even know how he spells his name.
Sean spells his name wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe he should just change his name.
He went with the Sean like he's Sean P. Diddy Combs here.
Yeah.
But he says, first, a gaming anecdote. As I figure you guys might be the only people on the planet who might appreciate it. My non-gamer girlfriend has been watching me play Breath of the Wild for almost 175 hours. But recently, she started her own game. After playing about 15 hours or so, she was telling me about what a great time she was having, but how difficult it was for her to control not being a gamer. The conversation went as follows. Her. It's so hard to control. I get terrified when a Boba King comes after me, and I die all the time. And then she goes, yeah, I'm not as good as you. And then she said, I need like 100 meat pieces to survive.
Meat pieces.
To which Dave replied, that's what she said.
Oh,
We laughed. And while I'm not certain the humor of what she said jokes translates to anything other than in the moment chortle, I figured you guys might appreciate it anyways. We do appreciate it. So now that John's back from his tour de Colombo,
oh dear.
Great name. What game are you going to make him play in your Here Richard Play This Game experimental challenge? We have not discussed that. John, you're going to go on a little tour de force because thanks to Jeff, we're going to find a game that we think you should have played that you're just like, I don't want to do this, and we're going to make you play it.
Well, I already have Witcher 3.
Well, yeah, we're still going to make you play it.
Well, no, I plan to. I started it.
I'm going to
played
make you
about 5 hours of it.
I'm going to make you play Overwatch.
No.
You have to do it.
Well, I have it.
But you're going to have to play it yourself.
Oh, my God. Well, okay.
The world can always use more heroes.
Okay. I'll
maybe.
play it. If that's all I don't even have to spend any money. I bought it a couple weeks ago.
For your son.
For Aidan.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably how good
He's
is
played
he?
it twice.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But it's
for him.
funny, he's got the headset on and he yells. No, he yells because he thinks that's how you can hear him.
Hey!
Because he can't hear himself, so he's got to yell.
It's
really
kind of like the guy who's suddenly lost his hearing and he's
Yes.
trying to have a conversation with people.
Exactly like that.
Sorry, I can't hear myself. How'd a grenade go off right here? We know, Bob. Next up, Bucky writes in. He says, weekly games chat. He didn't say Chris, John, or Sean. He just said weekly games chat.
Don't read it.
Hey guys, and welcome back, John. He misspelled John. There's no H in John.
No, there's not. How dare you, Bucky?
That's funny. I can't play Mario Odyssey until Christmas because good old Mrs. Claus won't let me play it until then. Who the heck is that?
Probably his grandma.
Oh, okay. She got myself and my daughter a copy of the game, and it will be well worth the wait. The last time I opened and played Mario during Christmas was N64. We are all excited. Not only will I be playing Mario on Christmas, but I've also asked Santa for Star Wars Battlefront, Uncharted Lost Legacy, LA Noire, and Batman Telltale. I haven't had this many games on Christmas in a long time. My daughter is looking forward to playing The Sims 4 and Lego Marvel 2. It'll be a fun time until then, though. I picked up Hidden Agenda for PS4. It's a good game for groups of people. It's $20, and I think it's worth a weekend. My question is, what are your predictions for next year's Nintendo Switch games? Below, I've given my predictions. Notice Pokemon is omitted because I think it'll be a 2019 game. Thanks so much, guys, and keep up the good work. He writes Yoshi, Kirby, Metroid Prime, Wolfenstein, at least 2 deluxe Wii U ports. He's betting on Mario Maker and Captain Toad. Bayonetta, a new Nintendo IP we don't know about, and Mario Odyssey DLC.
I think Bayonetta is a possibility. I think you
Yoshi and Kirby, right?
Well, yeah, those are a given. I think,
and Wolfenstein.
Yeah, those have really been announced. So I don't know that they're predictions, but he said Metroid Prime.
That's not coming.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I don't see that happening. I would love it for that. As long as it doesn't hurt the quality of the game. Yeah, fine.
You get your Metroid Prime, it's just like you see this stick figure with a circle on the end. That's your gun.
Pretty much. I can see a Smash coming out. Whatever iteration that is, I don't know.
I would go with that for one of my 2 Wii U ports. That and I think Mario Maker, the 2 obvious ones.
Yeah, you guys have said Mario Maker. It's hard for me to picture how they make it work on the Switch, but if they can pull it off, I see no reason why they wouldn't. Because they love money.
If I can walk around that would be the kind of thing, like if I can be at work and just whip out my Switch and start, designing,
whip out your Switch at work
and start designing a level, that's a pretty cool thing to be able to do, I gotta say.
Yeah.
And then you can come home and be infuriated at other people's levels because that's how that game goes.
Yeah.
I would say, I don't think you'll get a new Nintendo IP you don't know about, just because if that was the case, you would have heard about it because they would want you to be like, we're developing a new IP. That's right. Nintendo is creating something new, something you didn't know about, because that's basically what they were doing with Splatoon for about 1.5 years. So
I will say, Hey Pikmin, when it came out on 3DS a couple months ago, that was not the Pikmin game that Miyamoto spoke about.
True.
So I think whether it's the end of the year or whatever, I think it's possible we could get the console 4. Pikmin 4. Was that Pikmin 4?
I wouldn't be surprised if at some point during the year they tease up an Animal Crossing game coming to the platform.
That would be probably a likely scenario.
Yeah, I think it's got to happen at some point.
Yeah. I think the mobile game, from what I've seen, it looks like a full-blown...
Oh, that thing's going to make a ton of money.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Speaking of which, did you hear about Niantic's new thing? The rumor that came out today?
What was it? Hold on. Star Wars?
Nope, but you're in the ballpark.
Go ahead and tell me. I forgot.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You're a wizard, Harry.
That's weird.
People are going to be going around.
That's got to be mobile, right? I mean...
Yeah, that's how all their games are.
Yeah.
It'd be fun when they make their Battle Royale one where it's like Harry Potter versus Pokemon versus that other game they have. I can't remember right now.
Harry.
What you mean you didn't tell me? TJ.
How do you spell it? Yeah, I said
T.
it yesterday.
J.
I'm recycling a joke.
Yeah, you are.
If you could only know how.
That was like the one thing from yesterday I wish we could have cut out was that joke.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the one time like they took us to a full count yesterday.
Oh, shut up. Let's do this.
But we got the strikeout. From an LSU fan to a group of Bama fans. That's right, John. You're a Bama fan now. Good luck. You're welcome. No, yeah. TJ, I gotta give you all credit, and I think Sean will too. You know, even though it felt like we were in control the whole game, you guys gave us everything you had, and your defense definitely showed up to play. So y'all are in the right direction.
You put a few of them in the hospital too.
Yeah, y'all did. He says, also, there are too many good games out this year. Glad to hear y'all attempted to keep up with all of them for your audience. Thank you. No, thank you, TJ. And finally.
Oh, read it to me.
Steven.
Read it.
Says,
read it, Chris.
Hey, guys, no need for Sean to millman me a Switch. I found one here in Maine, finally. Sean had offered to go out and get him a Switch here because apparently they didn't have Switches in Maine, no matter where the guy was going. We're like, there's 20 at GameStop right now.
They're always at the Phoenix City Walmart.
Yeah. I found a few here in Maine, finally. Unfortunately, I'm having a hard time pulling myself away from the PC, aren't we all? I haven't touched my Xbox or PS4 in over a month, and I have a feeling it would happen with the Switch too. I'm writing to ask a random question, though. Sorry if you mentioned this in the past episode, but what's your favorite game controller of all time? I'm torn between the Xbox 360 and SNES. I know you're trying to say there's apparently some dashes or something in here, Steve, but they didn't come through the email. I just don't see them. I just see SNES. Anyway, John, I hope you're back and all is well.
Oh, I'm back, baby.
And he said game one, anyone, everybody. I think he meant saying game on.
We'll take both.
Well, yeah, we will definitely take both. And he says, P.S. Jeff, you done good last week.
Did he though?
To me, I didn't want to bring it up. We kept it out the whole episode. But we carried that country slanging man from Alabama through the whole episode.
Bumpkin.
Just like we do whenever we play PUBG or whatever game it is. Jeff is someone you have to carry through. He can't stand on his own. My
seat requires a higher caliber, Chris. And I am disappointed.
And a higher height.
Yeah. And I'm disappointed that that's what you came up with. Notice that. I said that. To be
fair, we could have gone with Mike, which would have been 100 times worse. So we didn't do that. Jeff, you beat Mike. I don't know if you're as good as the other Mike who's in our party that we've yet to have on the show, because I think he would be the top-notch guy.
Was there a question? I forgot.
Oh, you want to know about the top controller. And I agree with him. Xbox 360, best controller. No question, my man.
Well, for controllers, Chris, I really go for what is comfortable. And the three most comfortable controllers I've ever put in my hands is the first one was the GameCube controller.
Ugh.
I thought it was incredibly comfortable.
I hate that controller with all my might.
I love it. You just gotta, once you accept that it was designed for the GameCube in so many ways, I love that controller. My favorite controller is probably the PlayStation 4 controller because everything just fits so nicely in your hand. Nothing is out of reach, no button, no interface. Feels like you're really reaching for anything. But I really love the Switch controller. Really love that. And I think it's a combination of everything. It's like an amalgamation of everything that every controller has ever gotten right.
I feel like if you say you love the Switch Pro controller, in a way, you're also just saying you love the Xbox 360 controller because they obviously pull a lot.
You got a point there.
Yeah. The problem with the GameCube controller back in the day was, of course, that was the same time as Xbox was out, right? So we would go play Halo, and you'd have the original Xbox, the Duke controller, the ginormous controller that's like, that thing it's amazing. Like
It
So
is obnoxious.
sit back now and like look at it and go like, how did they ever think this was a good idea? To go from that to then like the really weird juxtaposition of the GameCube controller, which is just the weirdest button set I think of any of them. You know,
Love it.
Yeah, the big middle button and then this little tiny side button and then these square buttons up top. It's really weird.
It was a magical game. Game controller.
No.
It just fit really comfortably.
Well, that's all that matters in the end. Your hands are terrible.
My hands personally?
Yes. That's completely anecdotal here, but
They feel good to me. Wait, what?
what? He's been saying that for years. This has been episode 128 for the second time.
Okay. 128.
Almost 129. Yeah. Of Weekly Games Chat. If you like the show, subscribe to us on iTunes or whatever podcast service you want to use. And you'll get a new episode usually on Wednesday at midnight, but it's going to be a little bit later this week because of all the errors we had previously mentioned.
Please still download.
Yes. If there is a rating or review service for your service that you subscribe to, drop us a line if you haven't. Helps people find the show usually.
But don't mention this.
Yeah, don't say they told me to do this or else they wouldn't make it anymore. We will do that. But yeah, helps people find us. And of course, you can always find us on the Twitters at Weekly Games Chat and also on Facebook at Weekly Games Chat. John posts things there from time to time. I will sometimes do that with the Facebook too. Until next time, though.
I do want to say
to
the audience,
okay.
According to my wife,
Your wife.
my bed has arrived.
That's all that matters. You got a place to sleep tonight. I'm proud
Praise
of you.
be to our Lord and Savior.
Can I come over and try out your bed?
No.
Oh,
You've slept in enough of my beds. What?
really have.
What?
Really have. It's amazing what happens when you're drunk. Wait, what? Until next time, I will simply say game on, John.
Game on, Chris.
Game on, Sean, wherever you're at.
Hi, Sean. Game on, Sean.
Your mom's box.
Thug life.
Peace out, everybody.